Welcome to Trending Topics, where we discuss the hottest happenings and give you our hottest takes. I'm your host, Emily Owen, and I'm joined by our executive producer, Emily Griffith. Up for discussion tonight, a first look at Euphoria Season 3. Now, they didn't give us much, but I feel like they kind of scratched an itch that we know for a fact that we are getting Season 3 finally.
Yeah, they showed everybody from the old cast, so I feel like that probably made some people feel better who were worried that not everybody was coming back. But yeah, it was giving crumbs.
No, seriously, it did. And I can't remember, I think I was talking to you earlier how they are like grown up in this. I don't know, I think I just feel like they're grown up. They look the same, but they were playing high schoolers at like this age, but now like, I don't know, Nate just is giving like dad vibes.
Yeah, I mean, I think that might be the point. I think we might see him with like a family.
Is he going to be with?
That's terrifying, honestly.
Sydney Sweeney.
God. But yeah, I do think it's interesting how they're like, it's been so many years after high school. They definitely had to rewrite that.
Oh, yeah.
Like, for sure they had plans like for the third season to be their senior year, but then like with the writer's strike and COVID and all that, I think that kind of threw everything for a loop. So I'm kind of interested to see how they're gonna do that. I don't think I would have minded if they kept it senior year of high school.
I mean,
I could have suspended my disbelief.
Yeah, they already looked like adults anyways in the sophomore. What were they, sophomore, junior year?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they're trying to like make it seem like it could make sense in real life, and I get that, but like, you know, nobody ever thought this was real life.
No, seriously.
Like, let's be so for real. Nobody thought these were actual high schoolers.
There's so much going on.
You know, just go ahead and send it. Full send it with we're still in high school 5 years later.
The tease didn't give us much. Like I just said, it literally only gave us like what they're going to look like in this season.
Which is essentially the same.
Yeah, and like, I'm okay with it. I think I was just so excited for the fact because they've been talking about this. We haven't had season 2 since what, 2022, I think was when the release was.
I was still in college. It was a long time.
Yeah, and so all we've heard is talk. We've never actually had any proof. So now we finally have proof that we're getting a season 3. I'm interested to see how they're going to portray Angus Cloud's part, because he sadly passed, and Eric Dane, his part as well, which is Nate's father, he's battling ALS right now, so I'm interested to see, you know, what they're going to do with that, if they're gonna write it in maybe. I mean, that could easily be, you know, written into that as his character. So
yeah, we'll just have to, I mean, I'm more interested in this, I'm going to get hate for this, but I'm more interested in this than Stranger Things this season. Yeah. Just because, like, Stranger Things, when it first came out, I was still in middle school. So, like, I was interested in that. Yeah. Now, the last season, I'm almost 24, and, like, I just don't really care anymore. But, like, Euphoria, like, it came out, I think the first season when I was in high school, a couple seasons came out in college. And now, like, we're gonna wrap it. I think this is the last season, surely.
I don't know. I haven't heard or read anything, but I'm
But I can get behind watching it again and not feeling like, why am I watching this show about middle schoolers?
Yeah, I'm into Stranger Things just because, like, I do like the sci-fi, fantasy, drama, scary thing. It's more like adult vibes.
Yeah, you don't feel like, wait, why am I watching this?
Yeah, I don't feel like, you know, a 28-year-old watching like SpongeBob, you know, like something.
I mean, I can get behind those vibes, but like, especially like a show to watch by yourself. Yeah. Like, I could, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, watching Stranger Things alone, to me, feels weird, because it's like, why am I watching the show that I was watching in middle school alone? I don't know. Weird vibes. Yeah. I say that as I'm actively doing a rewatch of Teen Wolf. So this is all contradictory to everything that I actually practice in my life. But there's some things that just feel weird to watch alone. That's one of those things where I'm looking around like, what am I doing with my life?
That's where we're like opposites, because I feel like I need to be alone watching this, because I'm like, I don't want people to judge me for watching this.
For me, I feel like I need a friend to, like, so that we can say, like, oh, we're watching it in like a haha, he, like, not like a serious, like, way. You know what I'm saying?
It's kind of like 50 Shades of Grey in a sense. Like,
you don't want to watch that by yourself.
I mean, I literally went to the theaters and saw that with, like, my mother, you know?
I'm sure I have watched it by myself, but it's one of those things that's better with another person, because, like, you're not going to be accused of, like, watching this in, like, a serious way of, like, Oh my gosh.
Taking it in, taking it all. I don't know. I feel like Euphoria, I kind of want it to like go in a way that I'm not expecting. Like, of course, I'm expecting Nate and Cassie to be together, and of course Rue and what's her name, Jules, is that her name?
Yeah.
I'm expecting them to, you know, still be like best friends. I would kind of like to see a little twist. Like, honestly, I loved Nate and Cassie together. Like, I don't know, I loved it. And
yeah, I mean, sometimes there's just
drama.
like toxic people that you're like, you deserve each other.
And they're all toxic.
And that's a perfect example of you two deserve each other. Because no, I wouldn't wish you upon anyone else.
Right. Yeah, no, right. I don't know, it just brings more drama because, like, you know, Cassie and Nate, and then, of course, what's her name? His girlfriend.
I don't remember anybody's names. Maddie.
You've got Nate and Maddie who are like actively in a relationship, and then of course they're on and off again, so that brings drama. And then you've got Cassie who's thinking, well, we'll sneak around, you know, and that brings more drama. I don't know, it just like continuously adds to the effect. So I feel like I want something really big and dramatic that I'm gonna be like, wow.
I don't know. I could see it going in like a complete opposite direction of like
calm and tame.
none of them are talking to each other anymore, but like there's still like some intersecting in their lives. Like I could see Nate like being in this like suburban relationship where like everything looks normal and like functional, but like actually he's still got a side piece because he's a chronic cheater. Like I could see that kind of a thing, like characters going in directions that you're like, I never would have seen that coming. I could see that.
I just had a theory, like, what if they are like that, and then they have something that like brings them all back together?
Yeah,
it could be like
well,
something like that.
Years. I mean, who knows?
It's so tense, but I'm excited to see because I need to go back and rewatch it because I feel like a lot of that has left my memory since 2022. But I you know, remember like the main gist of it, and I'm excited to see how they're going to portray season 3 for sure.
Yeah, I am gonna miss the high school setting, I think, though.
Yeah, that was fun to me.
I just feel like it was I think it appealed to people because it was like you could live vicariously in this, like, it's a very nostalgic thing, I feel like, where these old movies and TV shows portraying high school and middle school in a way that's so incredibly unrealistic. You know, I'll harken back to Teen Wolf.
Right.
So unrealistic. None of these things are happening. They're making out in front of their parents and stuff. Just like absolutely wild things that would never happen in real life. Similar with Euphoria. I mean, I've never personally seen a high school where such things are occurring. Maybe we don't have those here in Alabama, but I haven't heard of any high schools like that. But I think it's like people get this like thrill of like, oh my gosh, like is that like it gives you that feeling of nostalgia, I think, for those old movies. You know, John Tucker Must Die, these old like high school movies where it's just really unrealistic, but for some reason we all feel a connection to them and like feel related to it, even though like you actually can't relate to a single aspect of the show at all. Personally,
it is very. What is it even rated? I know it's on HBO Max. Like
I think it's rated R. Yeah.
God, is there like a rating past R? Because that's what this needs to be.
I think TVMA is past R.
Well, that would. Honestly, now that you say that, I want to say that I have seen that in the corner of that.
Yeah.
But it being on HBO Max, I mean, that makes sense.
HBO Max is unhinged. Have you ever seen True Blood?
Yes. Well, that's it for tonight's Trending Topics. Thank you for joining us. Be sure to follow me on my socials at EmilyOwenWX. We'll see you back here next week.